What's good, everybody? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel. And look, as I'm coming in about a minute early, I figured to give you guys some time to kind of filter in. Hey, listen, a lot of moves being made this free agency period, guys. You know, I think we were all a little angry at Howie at first because, he promised big things and the progression was pretty slow. But I will say that judging from his plan B or C, whatever you want to call this plan, it was a pretty good plan. I mean, you guys know in my videos when I was talking, guys, I said that look, I'm a little concerned that when you look at a guy like Darius Slay, the Eagles could easily overpay given the position they were in. But I did say in that video, if we were to give up a third and a fifth round pick, I thought that would be exceptional value for Darius Slay. And lo and behold, we gave up a third and a fifth, round pick for Darius Slay. So apparently Howie Roseman and I both value Darius Slay pretty equally here. JLU, what's up, buddy? Extra Trelly, what's going on, buddy? Cody, what's going on, man? So, it definitely puts my mind at ease a little bit, guys, about what is going on here in free agency with the positionings. Especially when you look at the secondary, because I got to be honest with you, I wasn't a huge fan of the Malcolm Jenkins move. It wasn't that I thought that the player as a safety couldn't be replaced, because I mean, as a safety, you can replace Malcolm Jenkins. Even though I do think he's still probably, some saying they're top 10. I think he's more, I don't know, top 12, top 15. But look, what I will say is this: bringing a guy like Darius Slay into the secondary, it makes the transition going away from a guy like Malcolm Jenkins a lot easier, because now we at least have a legitimate guy who we can feel that we can depend upon to go out there and do an adequate to above average job. And I know that doesn't sound like much, guys, but in the city of Philadelphia, with the way our secondary has played recently, this guy even gives us above average corner play. He's, it's gonna make life a lot easier here. What's going on, Cara? Lion fans are upset with Slay leaving, which says something about his character too. Yeah, I haven't had to deal with any Lions fans, but I noticed a couple were in Philly Mike's comments there. Jalen Williams, what's going on, buddy? Paul L, what's going on, man? So, Stephen A. Smith, Eagles 11, what's going on, bud? What I will say is this: bringing in a guy like Darius Slay makes me feel that we're competent. And hang on, guys, we got Bird Gang coming in. I'm gonna put him inside the stream. What's up, Bird Gang 114?
What's up? Great news today, huh? With Darius Slay.
Yeah. Definitely interesting news, right?
You notice. I'm sorry about that.
So I was telling everybody in the stream that I was personally a little upset with the Malcolm Jenkins news initially, because I felt like you could replace the player as a safety. But, when you looked at that secondary, he was clearly our best player in the secondary, even though he was on a downward, trajectory. And getting a guy like Darius Slay kind of puts some of those concerns immediately to rest. You at least know you got one guy out there you can feel confident in that can go out there and do an above average job in coverage. So what do you guys think about this whole Darius Slay signing?
We love it.
I love it. To me, this was definitely the guy we should have took over Byron Jones.
Me too.
I liked him better.
And he's familiar with Schwartz because Schwartz drafted him in 2013. So he knows the player. And honestly, with the Malcolm Jenkins, I don't feel as bad as you do. I know he was a great leader, but it seemed to me he was kind of, on the downside. I mean, I know he was there every play, which is super important. And he's better than anything I think that we got back there now. So I think we are going to suffer. That's a big loss. I think they should have had a better backup plan than what they did by bringing in Mills back.
Yeah, you guys just touched on something. I want to hit it up. Hey, guys, in the comments, I'm seeing your comments. I promise you I'm going to get to the Julio Jones thing. I do have a perspective on that. Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll definitely get to those. All right. You guys touched on something. That is what I said. Where was the succession plan to letting go of Malcolm Jenkins? That's what scared me was, you look at a guy like Jason Peters, and I felt like it was time. I feel like the guy can still play. He can still play at a high level, just like I feel like Malcolm Jenkins can still play. He can still play at a high level. They're both older guys. With that said, there was a succession, plan in place for, letting Jason Peters walk. Initially we saw no succession plan in place for what happened with Malcolm Jenkins. And to me, that was the most concerning thing. And I was like, like everyone was hitting me up and they were like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know what the plan is. I just, I don't want to say anything until I can see more of what in the world Howie's trying to plan here.
I don't think Howie has a plan for safety.
His first plan, I thought, was going to be the Anthony Harris one, the Minnesota guy. Once that was over, I felt like he had no plan.
I personally think that he was just playing. He thought he was going to be able to get Malcolm at a cheaper price, and then talks broke up and it kind of fell apart. And he did what he had to do because we had no plan B. So that's what I think happened.
So, guys, in the comment section, this is what I want to know from you guys in the comment section. We just traded for Darius Slay. My sneaking suspicion is we may not be done at corner. Do you guys think this is the final move at cornerback, or do you think the Eagles are still going to look for a value-added player in free agency at that cornerback position? You guys want to chime in on that one too, Bird Gang 114?
Yeah, I'll let Cam go first.
I think they're not going to sign like a starting type of corner, but I think they're going to take like a veteran guy, like Jimmy Smith, maybe, like something like that.
Me personally, I believe that they have to sign another corner because if not, we're in trouble. I don't honestly believe Rasul Douglas or Avonte Maddox. I would like to see they're better than Rasul Douglas, but I don't believe I think we need another player. I don't know if he got signed, but I think was it from Tennessee, Logan Ryan.
Logan Ryan.
That's who I would like to see, but they definitely corner help. And not counting that, I mean, do you honestly believe the defense is better today than it was at the end of last season with all the linebackers that are gone? Are they going to bring Braden back? Is that their plan?
I actually was kind of getting into that a little bit, but no, I don't. Right now, I think certain aspects of the defense are better. I think the interior pass rush is certainly better. I definitely think if you look at Darius Slay playing left cornerback, that's certainly an upgrade. Look, I really like TJ Edwards, and I think TJ Edwards should have an opportunity, but you got to push him. You got to have someone there that he can beat out. You can't just award an undrafted rookie free agent top. He's got to beat somebody out for that. I mean, there's got to be competition there. I do think that, Nathan Gary, I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Nathan Gary. I think he's a very good coverage linebacker. Man, the guy missed a lot of tackles. His missed tackle rate was like 16%. Not too sure how I feel about Gary, about Nathan Gary playing that role as an every down linebacker, having to really step up and shut down the run if they get by that D line. Now, I know that the way Philly's defense is built, it begins and ends with the defensive line. So, I mean, they really should be keeping our linebackers clean, but
we've seen, well, like everybody, Gary step up a lot of notches since he came in. I mean, he gets there. He's there at the point. He just doesn't. He has to learn how to finish that tackle, like you say. He could be a really good player because he's always the first one there. He just doesn't finish the darn play, unfortunately. Maybe that's the next step this year because he's actually pretty good. He's come a long way.
So
we need. Surprised we didn't get like Corey Littleton.
Yeah.
So Extra Trelly just gave us an update here. So one of the guys I listed in my video from this morning was Devondre Campbell, who I said was probably the best linebacker left on the board, but he's not a great pass coverage linebacker. He's very similar to Blake Martinez, except for he plays outside instead of inside. Good tackler, good athletic guy, certainly more athletic than Blake Martinez, but he struggled in pass coverage. Although he was young, could have possibly been developed. He's off the board now. He just returned on a 1-year deal to the Falcons. So
yeah, he was rumoring going back to the Falcons like a week. That was our only hope.
But a linebacker play, it just seems that our linebackers just disappear. I mean, for me at least, it seems like I never hear them making a huge play. It's always an afterthought. You don't hear when Bradham was there, except for with the Super Bowl year, he had some big games. But for the last couple of years, it just seems like, if they need a play, boom, right in the middle of the field, it was wide open all the time. It's just nobody can make a play. I don't understand. Back in the day, I'm sure we all go back. We used to have like Willie T. We used to have Trotter. I mean, he wasn't the best, but he would hit you. I mean, we had some linebackers before. And I don't know why all of a sudden we don't value a linebacker.
Yeah.
How's that?
Hey, Cowboys Nation 1971, man. I just saw your post. Hopefully you're all right, bro. He was involved. It looks like you said he was involved in a car accident, so hopefully he's good. Cody Kleinfelter, hybrid corner / safety. I was going to touch on that a little bit, Cody, and I'll kind of loop you guys into this too, Bird Gang. So this is what I'll say, gentlemen. He's talking about that hybrid position. I think maybe not a cornerback safety hybrid, but more of a safety hybrid, a guy like a Will Parks who can play strong and free. I think you have to have a third safety. There's no way of just going in there without having a third safety. I really don't feel like we're done adding to that safety position, whether it is free agency or the draft. I think you're going to see somebody be plugged in here as a third safety. What do you guys think about that safety?
And you know who I got in mind? Tony Jefferson. I feel like no one really mentioned him. Once he got cut by the Ravens, I feel like he might come to Philly for a cheap deal.
I would agree. I don't know about Tony Jefferson, but I know we definitely need another safety because we usually we play big nickel usually they call it, where we have three safeties. So that's definitely 100%. They got to bring someone in. What we got right now, like I'm really nervous. I'm glad we got Slay, and I'm glad we're beefing up the line. But I just see, there's 3 levels in a defense, and that middle level to me is gone, and I really worried about that.
Yeah, I like Jefferson a lot from Baltimore. What was the deal with him? Is he coming off injury or something? Because I was a little shocked to see that he would be available.
Yeah, I think he was hurt, if I was right. I don't have my phone on me because we're using it in the live, but I think he was hurt.
I'm not 100%. I really didn't follow him, to be honest with you. I really didn't think we were letting go of Malcolm Jenkins. So I thought we were going to let go of McLeod and fill in one spot with Devontae Maddox, and we were good, and that was it. So I'm caught off because I really didn't think they were going to let him go.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking up Tony Jefferson's age real quick. Hey, guys, Tony Jefferson's not 31, guys. He's only 28.
And that's young.
Yeah, he's still young. That's why I was shocked to see him available. Like, he's a young, good safety. I mean, he's kind of still in those prime years. I didn't think that he played too bad, but
I don't know if you touched on before we came on about the offense, but are we just going to draft a receiver? Or, I mean, I know we were trying to draft Robbie Anderson twice. I mean, trade for him.
Or DeMarcus.
Let's I guess we can dive right in that because everyone in the comments is going crazy about wide receiver. So, all right, let me put the rest what I think about Julio Jones, guys. It ain't gonna happen. I don't know if there was really a Josina Anderson report or not. Dude, his dead cap is $58 million. No way in hell that's happening. I just, I'll say this. I'll leave the door cracked. I won't completely shut it on you guys. It's very unlikely to happen given the dead cap money. Although they can designate it and they can put it over 2 years. Certainly, sometimes when you trade, that does impact the dead cap where it's not quite as much, but it ain't like you're going from 58 million to 5 million. I mean, that's a big number, guys. It just seems very unlikely to me.
I agree. I don't see that happening. It would be beautiful. It would be great. It's a dream, but I don't see that happening. I mean, we have to be kind of realistic. I mean, everybody's talking about, second tier receivers, and then all of a sudden we're talking about one of the greatest NFL receivers. It would be beautiful, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's 31, but if I'm ever going to sign, and here's the thing, I do think at certain positions the Eagles have to get young, but I do think that it was getting a little overblown, and like that was the main problem I had with the Malcolm Jenkins decision was this solely based on age? Because when a guy's not missing snaps, it shouldn't be based upon his age. Like the guy's dependable. The age factor is more about your snap count. Like, can we depend upon you to be there each snap, every game? If not, like then yeah, we got a problem because we know receivers when you get over 30 years old, we don't know when it's going to happen, but we know between 30 and 35, you're going to go downhill fast.
Absolutely. They definitely need to go younger. I mean, I'm sure they're going to draft somebody, but it would be nice to get a proven veteran, because I'm pretty sure they're going to get rid of Alshon. You know, I can't see them, if it's true about what they say that he's the leaker and all that. I mean, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, everything points to him. And Deshaun, you can only hope that he stays healthy. If he does, that's a plus. He's a great player. But they need to groom a young guy in Deshaun's mold. Just like when Deshaun came in and then they drafted Macklin, and he helped Macklin his first year. It would be perfect while we got him there for him to actually help out a young guy.
Yep. Carl, I was just sending you a message in here. I agree. I don't know that it was the money. It might have been the length of contract that held us up with Jenkins. I do agree that could have been the factor that maybe we're missing, because I just can't see that he signed for what, $8 million a year or so. I can't see how you go from $8 million a year to 14. Like, it's too big of a disparity. Like, especially when it was in 24 hours. So clearly there was already a number. Everyone knew what that number was across the league. And no sooner than he hit free agency, Sean Payton was like, yeah, I'm not going to have this mistake happen twice. I went and got him. There's a lot of comments about Clowney, guys. I want to bring up an actual rumor that was it's on Philadelphia Eagles, the PhiladelphiaEagles.com website. It's been reported by a few different, analysts here. The Eagles are incredibly interested in Yannick Ngakoue. This is something I made a video about, and I thought that there could be interest there because I know how we value pass rushers. And I know, I can't explain it, guys, but I just know we lack edge speed. And it's crazy because we do got guys like Josh Sweat and Jannard Avery who are fast. But for some reason, when you run the film, we just do not get upfield quick enough on these quarterbacks to push the pocket. And that's a big rumor going around right now. And I'm mentioning this because a lot of guys are saying about Clowney. Right now, the big rumor I'm seeing is the Eagles might trade for Ngakoue. My question to Ngakoue is this. What round pries him apart? That's the thing. What round draft pick pries Ngakoue away from the Jags? Now, he's not on a contract. I mean, I think they franchised him, right?
Yeah. But it's going to take at least a number one. Look at what last year they KC gave up for Frank Clark. I think it was a 1 and maybe like a 3 or something. They're not going to give this guy away for free. So someone's going to get him. But if the Eagles give up a 1, does that mean how are they going to get the receiver? It would have to be through free agency. So, I mean, but we agree with you 100%. When you're at the game and you watch the games, this defensive line is not the same as it was a couple years ago. We could not get to the quarterback last year, and that killed us because with Ronald Darby back there last year and everybody, it was just, it was over. As soon as they had more than 3 seconds, it was done. Somebody was open because these guys play like 10 yards off the guy. They're afraid of getting burnt. And then all of a sudden, boom, wide open. It was unbelievable. We made even the guy from the Redskins look pretty good there. So, I mean, if we could get a pass rush, I'd be all for it because, honestly, on offense, if they kept Alshon and we got Ertz, we got Goddard, we got Jackson, it's not like we're empty. We have play. But on defense, we need help. So I would not cry if they went and got this guy and gave up a number 1. I would actually be kind of happy.
Exactly. So one thing I'm looking into is how much cap space do we even have? Because this kid's going to want a contract.
I believe in Howie. He'll manipulate the numbers. If the Cowboys are able to get Dak Prescott on a franchise tag, get Amari Cooper for $100 million, get Gerald McCoy, and get all these guys, we could play with the numbers. I mean, they'll figure it out. They'll give bigger bonuses or something. I don't know. But
I shine 101. That's what I'm saying too, man. It scares me because I'm hesitant, like Carr, to give away a first or a second. Not because of the talent, because the dude doesn't really have a contract in place. It just seems unreasonable for Jacksonville to try to ask that. But what's that guy's name? Shad? Their owner, whatever the heck his name is. Yeah. Shad Khan or whatever his name is. Like, he hasn't been the most reasonable. about his players. And, you know, I definitely think he is that kind of talent, Eyeshine. I think he's ridiculously talented. And I don't think Jacksonville has got everything out of him that he can be. I think this kid could be ridiculous off the edge. But the question is, would you really want to give up a first for him without the contract? You know what I mean? That's where I get cold feet. I mean, if we're talking third, a fourth, 2 fourths, yeah, I'd probably say we're unlikely to get a guy of that talent in the fourth round.
In the second.
Huh?
How about Derek Barnett in the second?
DB and the second probably would get the job done, but do you think it would be necessary to give up a second with Derek Barnett?
I do, because he's always hurt. I hate to say it. He's got one move. He's got that outside speed rush move, but he hasn't really developed any other moves. And then against the run, I mean, they always catch him going on the inside. You know, he doesn't play contain as well.
Yeah,
I believe.
pitch would be
pitch, yeah. So I mean, I like him. I think he's great. He helped us win a Super Bowl, but I would definitely throw him in, and you know, that way we keep a one.
Yeah, Cody, I think we're on the same wavelength. I would say Barnett and maybe a third or a fourth. I mean, Barnett's he's still productive. I mean, Barnett's biggest problem is he's just got to stay on the damn football field. He doesn't miss, he's not a guy that misses a lot of games, but he misses a lot of snaps with just weird ailments in his hamstring and lower, stuff like that.
He has potential. It's just, it never seems to come, you know, potential's great, but he's got to go to the next level. I thought by now this is going to be his third year?
Yeah.
It's now or never.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy because his rookie year in 2017, well, this would be his fourth year then. His rookie year in 2017, man, he looked like a guy that was going to really develop into something special. Absolutely. And just, man, because of health and different reasons, he just hasn't gotten there. And it's frustrating with a guy like him because he's a guy I can see you give up on too soon. And then 4 years later, you're going, damn, we probably shouldn't have made that move. But at some point, you do have to make a decision because that contract's coming up due. Are you going to give him a second contract or not?
Now, do you feel Fletcher Cox is going to take another step back? Because you could tell he's not the same man he was a few years ago either.
I think he was suffering from an injury last year. Because, I mean, you got to remember, him and Brandon Brooks got really rushed back from injuries fast. I don't know who was making these decisions to play these guys, especially when you had, now mind you, Malik Jackson went down in that game. But you know, in theory, you had Malik Jackson and Tim Jernigan. I mean, no reason why against the Redskins in the first game of the season you shouldn't have been able to rest him another week or so because, I mean, they were coming back from some pretty significant injuries coming off of that New Orleans game from the season prior in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think that he was right until halfway through the year. And then he started to emerge when he started, you know, feeling better. I mean, I think if you get people beside him who can actually legitimately push the pocket, he's a different guy because now you can't double and triple team him so much. But I agree with you. I mean, without the right people beside him anymore, I don't know that he's the same guy he was 2 or 3 years ago.
So why do you believe they bring in from Steelers Gravedigger if they have Malik Jackson? Or you think they're going to move him around?
I think Malik Jackson's going to be, you know, like a Swiss Army knife. I think he's going to. I know Malik Jackson doesn't particularly like playing defensive end, but he has the skill set to do it. And I think you'll see the Eagles where they can go into a NASCAR, you know, kind of pass rush. You'll see them go heavy with more of a bull rush with Malik Jackson playing defensive end. Then you got, you know, Cox and you got Graham on one side. You got, you know what I mean? Like, you got guys who can really push the pocket, especially on one-on-one matchups. I think you're going to see the Eagles get a little more creative in the way that they send 4 guys to get to the quarterback. Hopefully Malik Jackson doesn't feel unsatisfied with the role. That's my concern.
And he had the whole season off, so he should be recovered. I mean, that was game 1, unfortunately, that he got hurt. Hopefully he has a good season. That's all I can say. But do you think, going to offense, just out of curiosity, do you think, is there too many cooks in the kitchen with this offensive coordinator / everyone has a position? I mean, is it going to come down to Doug or what's going to happen? It just kind of seems a little strange.
I think it's it's hard to say. It really depends on the personality of the guys, but I think it's a strategy by Doug to where you can't fire his guys because you're not going to know who to blame. Honestly, I think he feels that Groh got a raw deal here, and that he was better than maybe the fan base and the front office recognized. I felt he got better as the season went along, but when you took the entirety of 2018 along with 3/4 of the 2019 season, it's a dude that had to go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we were. I hate to say it, we were part of the fan base that was calling for him. But you're right. At the end of the season, I thought maybe he saved his job because he took a bunch of second, third level players and was able to get us to the playoffs. So I thought, oh, he saved his job again. But I did not cry, unfortunately, when he was let go.
Yeah, yeah.
But Marty,
Cody wants to know for the sake of the topic, if they trade Malik, what do you think they could get for him? That's tough, man. Malik is 30.
In the dead cap, right? Isn't it like $7 million on dead cap?
Let me see. I can take a look real quick. He is about 30 years old, guys. So that would be my first concern: is how many people are looking for 30-year-old interior, pass rushers. He's still a good football player. I mean, guy can still push the pocket and pass rush. The problem with Malik Jackson is he's not very good against the run. He flashes on a few plays, but then he really gets taken out of a lot of plays too.
You can see that,
guys.
Game of the season.
Actually, his dead cap, guys, is 17.2. So yeah, no, I doubt that's going to happen.
That's not happening, man.
Yeah,
no one's gonna take that.
It seems unlikely to happen, guys.
But you're absolutely right about him against the run because you could see that in opening day. I know he didn't even play the whole game, but it was like boom. We're like, what the heck happened? It's right up the middle. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'm surprised that they're, they not going to bring back. Well, I guess we have enough guys, but I was thinking Tim Jurgen again, but because he plays pretty cheap. He gets the whole team amped up. He's always fired up. I'm just wondering, what's going to happen. Who are they going to be the new team leaders? Is it just going to be Fletcher Cox on D? And who's going to take over that other spot where Malcolm came out and got everybody amped up and got the team rolling and believed? Who is that?
In terms of the emotional leader?
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Mills has some of that ability as a rah-rah guy. Rah-rah guys and leadership, I think, sometimes can be confused, though. I don't think it's necessarily the same thing. Brandon Graham, probably a defensive side. It'd probably be Brandon Graham. Offensive side, I think it's time that the franchise quarterback takes over this football team.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I think he's got to be the guy.
But is the team going to get back together again like it used to be where nobody spoke out? Nobody, you know how Alshon, that whole thing, they need to get him out of there for it to be like kind of for him to be the leader because there's always going to be that background.
If you go to over the cap, salary cap estimator, guys, if you cut Alshon with a June 1st designation, it's only going to cost the Eagles $1 million in cap space. So I do think there's a high probability he will be given the June 1st designation and released. I think, the Eagles would love to trade him, but
no one's going to take him.
Yeah. I think if his contract was different, if it wasn't, Howie really messed up the contract there, guys. There's just no way around that. He screwed up on the contract. But if that contract wasn't so damn big, I think we would have been able to move him by now. But also the injury hurts him. He
had the great year when we won the Super Bowl, but honestly, the following year, he missed the first 3 or 4 games, I think it was, and he had an okay season. And then last year, there was really not much to talk about. So it's kind of been a steady decline since he got paid. I don't know if what else to say about him. I don't think it would be that big of a loss if we let him go or cut him. I know we have to eat the money, but you know what? It's better to have a clean locker room than have disgruntled people in there.
I shine 101. I feel that's the reason why they signed Hargrave as well, is that they're paranoid about the amount of injuries they had on the interior line last year. I do agree with that statement. I think that had a lot to do with it. Philly fan D, Wentz did take over last year, yeah, but I'm talking about putting it together for the full season, like being the guy, the real guy. Like, not only for the offense, Philly Fan D, but like a real true team leader. And I do think he has the ability. I think that's
can be.
These guys are not in this organization anymore.
Yeah, that first year he was there, it seemed like he had a bigger leadership role than he did in the last year. I mean, when he came out, it was all Wentz. He was the face, and then something happened, and I don't know. I don't know if it's because the whole Super Bowl not playing, Nick Foles drama, where he kind of lost a little bit of that leadership role. He lost a little hand, but definitely that first year when he was an MVP candidate, it was all Wentz.
Yeah, Philly Fan D, I don't disagree with that statement that Alshon should be appreciated for what he did during that Super Bowl run. I do agree with that. He was a pretty big piece of that offense. You know what? When there's deep threats alongside of a guy like Alshon, where he's basically able to be, kind of a possession guy, point ball, he's running point basically, and every now and then he can get over the top of the safeties if they're not paying attention. He's dangerous. He's got a huge catch radius. But I just think the lower body injuries really got to him over the past 2 years. I mean, he had the shoulder ending the Super Bowl year. Then he started having those nagging lower body injuries to the legs and the shins and the knees and stuff like that. Just takes it out of you as a receiver.
Yeah, we'll forever be grateful to him. I mean, we were lucky enough to go to the Super Bowl and to see him play. It was awesome. And like I said, we will always be grateful to him. So I hope anyone but he really is truly a number 2 receiver. He's not a true number 1 in my book, at least. He never had the blazing speed, but he always got open somehow, and I mean, I don't understand what his problem is with Wentz, because I think with Jackson and him, if they were playing this season, I think it would be a great matchup. I don't, because you still would have to, everybody would have to roll over to Jackson's side, and he would be wide open. So I don't understand what the problem is there, but I'm sure we'll never know the truth until after he's gone.
I mean, I feel like if the Eagles want to go get an X receiver, and I know it's not going to be popular, but I think Higgins makes a lot of sense as an X. I think he's got some of those same abilities as Alshon, but he's just a little faster than Alshon was. I will tell you this, guys, don't fall in love with that 4.43 that he put up. Guys, you always got to account for a hand timer at pro days. You got to add a 0.5 of a second to any hand timer. So he's really running closer to a 4.5. He's around what Arcega-Whiteside was running. Although I will say this, Arcega-Whiteside's time came off of pro day too, so he's actually a little faster than Arcega as well. But he's about a 4.48 guy, 4.49 guy.
We believe that they should still get a running back too, at least in free agency or somewhere, because I know everybody loves Myles Sanders. I like him too. I like him more as a receiving threat out of the backfield or bouncing it to the outside. I don't see him as really too much of an inside the tackle guy. I think we would benefit from a really good running game that would take the load off of Carson, and then with the play action and with Jackson going to, it would open up the field. I think tight ends would be open. We need a really good running game.
So the question is, who would it be?
How about Melvin? You think they would maybe try to get Melvin Gordon on a 1-year deal?
I doubt it. I think he's going to get paid somewhere. I would look to the draft. There's a kid coming out. Was it Utah or I think it's Utah? They got a really good contact balance back coming out of Utah. He's very, very, very similar to Jordan Howard. I would look to the draft if they can find a vet. They really need a contact balance guy. They need a short yardage pickup, blitzing linebackers, stuff like. They need a guy that can come in and do that. If you can find a guy that is talented enough to play some 2-back sets with, where he can kind of be a lead blocker, or he can be a lead blocker for a guy like Myles Sanders to add an element to your offense, kind of like they did in Buffalo with Myles Sanders and Jordan Howard. I think that would be, really good too, because now you got Boston Scott, Myles Sanders to give you a little bit of that razzle dazzle and that speed. Then you go get you a power back to where you could be faking a handoff inside to the power back, pitching outside, just trying to get everyone to crash down, so that way you can get to the outside on faster flowing defenses. Play action with those two and really hit somebody over the top. We need that. I I don't know. Sometimes as an organization, from a football standpoint, when it comes to like strategy and the way you utilize players, at times I don't understand it.
Well, my choice would be Carlos Hyde. Honestly, he's a power back. I think I kind of liked him when Texans. He was doing pretty good. So I think Carlos Hyde be cheap, as you saw. Jordan Howard got like a $5 million per year, right? 2 years, $10 million. So I think we could get Carlos Hyde for cheaper, and I think he could be that power back just to push a couple of yards to get the first down.
Philly fan D, I don't know that they're just going to hand Holyfield the job, man. I can't see him just handing it to him. I'm not saying he won't earn it, but I don't think they're just going to hand it to him. He's going to have to compete for it. That's why I was a little shocked. I was a little shocked with Clement. I wouldn't be shocked to see Clement come back. Right now, I think there's a lot of issues with the health with him, and I think they want to see what happens with, number one, his market, and number two, his health. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's not like a late summer guy that gets brought back to compete here.
You don't think it was a 1 year wonder? I had a great year during the Super Bowl, and then doesn't seem he has put anything together in the last two. Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you could definitely make the argument that he was a 1 year wonder, but I don't think he was a 1 year wonder in the traditional sense of like he doesn't actually have skill set. I think the skill set was there. I just think he suffered some really unfortunate injuries. I mean, running backs, it's physical. It's a physical position, man. It can happen to anybody.
Because even when they put him on special teams last year, he fumbles the ball on the kickoff for Atlanta. I mean, the punt for Atlanta. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he lost confidence. That first year, he would booms. He'd be taking passes all over the place. It was incredible. That pass in the Super Bowl he caught in the corner of the end zone, unbelievable. And he had those kind of catches all year, and then it just kind of disappeared. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was injury, or I don't know if his confidence. I honestly don't know what happened to him. I thought we had a steal there, and boom, unfortunately.
Lone Revolver 1, I don't disagree with you, but I'm not as optimistic about Myles Sanders between the guards as you are right now. I do agree that if you look early on in the season, Myles had those happy feet. Dancing too much, wasn't decisive going through the hole. I think he cleaned that up definitely as the season went on. What I will say is his contact balance, I don't know, man. Go back and watch that Seattle playoff game again. I didn't see it. I still think he has a long way of developing. I'm not saying he won't do it. I don't think it's there yet.
We like Sanders, but we don't love Sanders. I mean, like I said, he just seems like you said, happy feet. He seems like he always wants to bounce it to the outside. He doesn't. I don't know if he doesn't see. I don't know. I don't know if he has the vision. Hopefully, Deuce can work with him. I know Deuce believes in him, and maybe Deuce can get him to get his play to the next level. Maybe that 1 year, another year in the system will help him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that he definitely cleaned up the happy feet thing. I mean, if you look early on in games, he missed holes because he was dancing too much. But then you could see that when it looked like they had him really working closely with not only Deuce Staley, but with Jordan Howard, because he got way more decisive about getting to the hole. I think there's a difference that some people don't get about, like when you're a young back. I think some people confuse patience with tapping of the feet, that toe tap thing that running backs do sometimes. Instead of just being patient the way Jordan Howard was, waiting for that hole to open and shooting through it. I think the problem is when you get happy feet, it takes a lot to change your momentum and your energy to get through the holes it's opening. It looks like to me is that they did start to clean that up a little bit.
You think they might bring McCoy back? LaShawn?
I doubt it.
Cheap farewell tour goodbye. Someone that could maybe help Myles Sanders out.
I doubt it. The problem is that he's too similar to the two backs we already got. I mean, to be honest, No,
I agree.
He's a little older.
He's way past his prime, but we got to get something in there. That's for sure. I mean, how about the guy they cut from Atlanta?
Dave Freeman.
The Eagles used to be really high on him. Yeah.
Yeah,
the Eagles used to be really high on him, but I don't think so. I mean, they could. I mean, I think the Eagles are going to wait and see the market develop at running back before they do anything. I think what they're looking to do is to bring in either a rookie or a veteran to push Holyfield. I think they like Holyfield in the position. I don't know that you've seen enough from him in the short amount of time you had him in Philadelphia to really know what he is yet. I mean, we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, what about
it looks like a lot of people are down on the whole McCoy signing.
Or we're not for it either. I just figured we'd ask because back before free agency started, he was posting he wanted to come back, and he saw that the nostalgia and all that. But it's like I said, we're trying to get younger, not older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
we definitely
clearly Deuce saw something in. Deuce had to have seen something in him, because, man, there were times where Myles Sanders should have absolutely been pulled from being the number one back early on in the season for Jordan Howard, but Deuce had belief in that kid and kept him playing because he saw it. He saw that it was there, and when this kid turned the light on, it was going to be special. You got to give Deuce credit, man. The guy knows how to develop guys. He knows how to develop running backs.
Yeah, because Deuce wasn't that his choice for running back? He went to his pro day and everything like that, and he's the one who basically told the Eagles to get this guy.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, I think Deuce has a bigger voice inside the organization than most people think. I mean, you give the guy the tag of assistant head coach. I mean, he's going to have a little pull. A lot of guys. I'm looking at some of the comments, guys. There's a lot. Guys, I don't think anyone really believes McCoy's coming back. I really, and I do think that McCoy in the right situation, I think he's fine. I mean, I just don't think we're in the right situation right now.
Now, with the offense, do you think that they're going to go try to go back to going a little bit stretching the field instead of this dink and dunk like they were doing the whole second half of the year? I mean, it was hard to watch for a while.
Until we see more personnel. I mean, if we went out there right now, no, we're going to dink and dunk. If what we're throwing out there is what we got, there'll be some stretch to it because Deshaun Jackson's out there, but you're going to have a lot of dink and dunk because most of your guys work over the middle. I do anticipate that to change, though.
Now, I heard something about rumors of I maybe discussed it already. The OBJ, maybe Eagles trying to look to go out getting him again.
I'll be honest. Love the player. Don't think it's a smart move for the locker room right now. I think the locker room is in a really weird place right now with leadership leaving. It's where maybe an OBJ personality is not. That's a hard one because OBJ could be lightning in a bottle, and he might be a veteran guy that could give this team an edge to say, man, we're better than them. Like, we shouldn't be playing like this. Or he could be gasoline on fire. It's really hard to say with OBJ.
Not too bad in Cleveland last year. I mean, he could have went off the end there with not getting the ball and not scoring as much. And he seemed to keep his act together last year. I mean, he seemed like he grew up a little bit.
What would you give him? Like, how much would you give up for him?
Not much. 2? Yeah, not much. A 2, probably. A 2, I mean, OBJ for a 2, sure. I think where the question gets kind of interesting is there's the hard part. Is OBJ worth the first round pick? Yeah, he is. Absolutely. The downside is if you trade away that first round pick, you bring him in here, and the personality and the fit doesn't work, how much did you just set the organization back? It's a risk. I mean, but, if you're going to get the reward, you have to take the risk. That's the problem.
Can you imagine hit Jackson and him on the same field at the same time?
Oh, it would be from a playing standpoint, they would be unstoppable. There's no there. Yeah. I don't think from the play standpoint, I don't think there's an argument that can be made because OBJ is just special. I mean, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's weird because he's not really that big. He's a fast guy, but I mean, he's not the fastest of guys, but he's fast. He's got speed. But the dude's hands, I mean, I don't know if he has like go-go gadget fingers or what it is, man, but the way he puts balls out of the air is unlike anything I've ever seen.
And with those two guys on the outside, Zach Ertz would be like wide open all day. I mean, who are you going to put on him? I mean, you got to, respect the two outside guys. He'd be open all day. He'd break his own record for catches.
Mm-hmm. Philly Fan D, better stretch. That's Carson's strength. I don't disagree with you, Philly Fan D, but I'm just projecting with what the roster is now. Like I have to see. I have to see what goes on. I mean, you're not going to stretch the field if all you got is Deshaun. It's the only player that's really going to stretch the field right now. I mean,
that's why I want.
It's tough, man. I wouldn't mind Robbie Anderson. I wouldn't mind. I'm not as high on Perriman as Philly Mike is. Philly Mike loves to mess with me about this one.
I don't know.
I don't think he's that good.
It's not that I dislike him. It's not that I don't think that there's not talent there. I just don't feel comfortable if that's the guy.
No way. Oh, I agree with you 100%. I would not put all my eggs in one basket with that guy because he's proven more than not that he is not the guy.
Yeah, hey, JLU. It's a pretty good point, man, about OBJ. We focused about the locker room, but we really didn't focus about the relationship between OBJ and Carson. And is that the right fit? I don't know. It's hard to say.
He seems like he got Baker Mayfield's back. I mean, when he wasn't getting him the ball, he never went out, And I know him and Eli didn't get along, but I think he would love to be back and kind of play against New York and kind of stick it to New York. I think he loves the limelight, playing against the Cowboys twice a year and all that. Yeah. I think he would love to be here.
I mean, it's a tough one because how old is OBJ? I think he's younger, right?
He's not old.
I know he's young, yeah.
27, 28-ish, I thought. Yeah, 27. It's 27. So, I mean, the one thing, I think the one legitimate argument you can make about OBJ is that OBJ fits what Roseman said. He wants guys that will grow beside Wentz. But I think the problem with OBJ is depending on, if this was Madden and you could just turn off the salary cap, sure. You got to fit guys in. That's the problem. You got to fit guys into a salary cap. That's the issue.
Well, I think they raised the season ticket prices again, so they should be able to do it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, the salary cap will keep going up. I mean, it'll keep going up each season. But
all the TV contracts, and now with them also doing the contracts for the internet instead of being only on DirecTV, they're going to be doing it more where you can get games on internet packages. They're going to be making so much money they don't even know what to do with it. The cap will keep going up. And
so what do you think the market is on Robbie Anderson? Because I heard you guys saying Robbie Anderson. I like Robbie Anderson, but what's the market?
I can't believe we haven't gotten him yet. I mean, I think he's holding out for more money because there is no real big market for him. I think he might, unfortunately, go back to the Jets because they were offering him halfway decent money. But, I mean, I would pay him, I would love to see him get a contract like for 3 or 4 years at, 10 or 12 million a year. I don't think that's unreasonable because you see guys that are getting like Amari Cooper is getting basically what, 20 million a year. I mean, honestly, Amari's good, but he's not. He's in my book, Amari's a number 2. He's not a number 1. He's a more. I mean,
he only burned us.
You don't think he's a number 1? I don't know. I would put him as a number 1.
He played against our corners.
I mean, he played against our 3rd and 4th corners, and that's why he had a good game. But
he called himself out in that game.
Yeah, then when it came down to last year, when it
he didn't call him. He didn't actually call himself out in that game. He got taken out. No, he got taken out by the coach. It was a coaching decision, which may actually be worse. But I mean, yeah, he was.
There's no. I'm glad we didn't go after him because I think for that kind of money, I honestly think we could get, better, I would rather get a rookie and like a Robbie Anderson instead of paying all that money.
He's got
great toes on the sideline and doing all that, but I don't think he's a guy that goes out and on a week-to-week basis just can win and take over games. I mean, he'll make beautiful plays. He'll get his 100 yards, but I don't think. I mean, I'm glad the Cowboys invested all that money into those three guys because they've had those three guys on that same team: Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Amari for now 2 years, and they still haven't done anything. So I mean, and now they're going to lose. They're losing a lot of their defensive players, like Byron Jones is gone.
Robert Quinn.
Yeah, so I mean, they're not going forward; they're going backwards. You may think they're going forward, but technically, they haven't really added anything to the offense. The offense is the same. They're subtracting from the defense.
Yeah.
So I think if we could get a little bit better, on the offense, we beat them with basically our backups. And I mean, as long as we can play halfway decent defense, we'll be fine. Because Carson will figure a way to get the ball, and Doug Peterson, they'll figure 2-3 yards.
Yeah,
what it does.
So on the OBJ topic, I'll pose it to you guys, and I also want to pose it to Carr and Philly Fan D because they're definitely behind the OBJ thing. I just want to pose something to you guys. You said, this is what they said in the comments. OBJ mostly does the complaining when he doesn't get the football. Would you say that it is a true statement that Carson Wentz will not throw you if you do not gain separation unless he has to do it? Might that cause a problem with a guy like OBJ if this is a guy that Carson looks and says, okay, well, you know what? Coverage is on you. I'm going to the guy that's open. It's got more separation.
There was no one open last year. They were all covered last year.
I know.
He squeezed the ball in. He will get the ball into him no matter what. Literally, we're at the game and there's no separation. The guy's on top of him. It's like they know the routes. Thank God for Greg Ward. He was the only one that kind of got open, but everybody else was covered, and he was not afraid to throw the ball.
But if you look at his aggressive rate, but if you look at his aggressive percentage, he was not a top 10 aggressive percentage thrower. Meaning he did not throw into windows of 1 yard or less as much as people think.
It definitely felt like
it. It felt like it. I was like, my God. It just felt like the whole game was like checkdowns or 5 yards, and that was it. At least that's what it felt like, But, everybody gets caught up in emotions and everything. We were all still used to 2 years ago when it was bombs away. So it just it felt like it. I am not of him throwing the ball to OBJ. I think Doug would find a way to get him open. I mean, if he could find a way for.
Well, but here's the thing: if you're an opposing defense, and this goes to JLU's point, if you're an opposing defense, he says he gets open, catches the ball. If I'm an opposing D coordinator, he ain't getting open. I'm taking him out of the game. You're going to beat me with other players.
We got Ertz. We got Jackson. Someone's going to be open.
I agree. I agree. But that's what I'm saying, though. Do you feel OBJ? I feel if you're winning, OBJ will be happy. But do you feel OBJ would be okay being that team player to where, look, they're rolling the coverage to me, so kill him over the middle, kill him with Jackson on a seam route, on a fade, whatever. But it's always got to be
he's not really
about him, though.
I honestly believe that he would be. Philly is a huge TV market, and when you play on Philadelphia Eagles, whether you believe it or not, your name recognition is much better than if you're playing like in Cleveland. Everybody knows OBJ because of New York, but sorry about that. But I believe that he would get a lot of endorsements. He'd be on TV, primetime games. He would be. I think he'd be ecstatic.
But isn't it a fair assessment to say maybe you're not hearing so much about how shitty he was in Cleveland because there was so much implosion that you didn't have time to concentrate on OBJ alone?
Well, I never heard him really complain. Even though first three, he didn't get a touchdown. So it's fourth game or something like that. I never heard him complain.
They certainly underlived expectations. They certainly imploded on themselves.
If it took a number 2, I would take the chance because we've all seen him what he can do, and Doug with his schemes, what would happen. I have no problem. I'd be all in.
I mean, I think it's a bit of a, and this is what I want to say about OBJ. I don't think OBJ is a Terrell Owens level. Well, you know what? I think it's a fair assessment to say Terrell Owens because I don't think Terrell Owens was he was a diva, but I don't think he was I think he got overhyped with the distraction that he was. I just think him and McNabb in particular didn't get along. McNabb said something that crossed the line to Owens, in his opinion, and that was it. That ended that relationship.
Living through that, being at the stadium and everything, watching those guys, but that first game, he gets the touch, he goes nuts, and he starts doing that Eagles stuff. That's it. Yeah. Everybody loved him, It's the second year.
That's what I was getting to about OBJ. I think the problem with OBJ is that at some point, he's going to be a distraction at some point. It's OBJ. But distraction or not, if he's producing and you're having a magical season, winning makes you not care about a lot of things.
Well, I mean, look at we got Alshon. We got the Super Bowl, then distraction. Was it worth it? Yes. No, right. I would say the same thing with OBJ. I'll take my chances.
Yeah. Hey, JLU, you're not going to get OBJ and Ruggs. You're losing that first-round pick. You go OBJ.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't really rely on drafting receivers. If you notice, Nelson Aguilar was a first-rounder. And if you say, let's draft a second-rounder, that was JJW. He hasn't impressed me yet. He's not doing that well. Jordan Matthew was like a third-rounder. I just don't feel comfortable drafting a receiver. I feel like Howie makes a move, it's always a bad move. The last time I remember us really drafting the receiver was Jackson because Macklin was okay.
So I take you guys don't want Nelson Aguilar back?
No, I liked him. I liked him, but not last year.
Well, because sometimes when Jeffrey was hurt, he could only play slot, and I think if we don't get Robbie Anderson, that'd be my guy to bring back. I think he's better than Robinson, in my opinion, or other guys that people like Pyramid. I'd rather actually have Aguilar back. I understand the catching problem. I actually hated that problem, but it's in his head. I think it's again. You know what I mean? Before it was in his head.
It's all confidence.
It's all about that.
I saw that extra Trelly. That's funny, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys couldn't trust Howie Roseman wide receivers. I mean, look at the track record of all the great guys we've drafted. I mean, come on. Come on, how can anyone not know that Marvin McNutt is the next big thing?
All you can say is Howie Roseman has a good track record of passing on guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just like last year, we wanted to get the guy Baltimore got. What was
Marquise Brown?
Yeah, like how could you not know he's going to be a huge player?
What do you mean, JLU? You don't want Aguilar back? Look at all that speed, man. You know how much speed we can have on the field with Aguilar and Ruggs and Deshaun? I mean, he might drop 99 out of 103 passes, but I mean, those 4 passes are going to be spectacular. I think Aguilar's done, guys. I think he's done. I think Aguilar's going to end up in a mid-sized market like Indianapolis. He's going to do well. I just don't think he can handle this market, honestly. I think it's mental with him.
He's fragile mentally.
Yeah, I think it's mental.
Yeah. He's fragile mentally. Other than that, I mean, when he has his confidence, that Super Bowl year, he was unstoppable. But it's all mental with that guy.
Yeah, and I'll admit, as much as I might push back on the OBJ thing, if I was the general manager and I could give a first-round pick and go get OBJ, he's 27. I'm taking my chances. If I'm going to be honest, I might have hesitations, and in the back of my mind, I might be really scared about the dynamic in the locker room, but he's a special talent. I'll be open and honest about it. I would pull the trigger on that move.
I would too. I would give up a first because honestly, Odell Beckham Jr. is proven as we're in the 21 pick. If we don't trade up, who are we going to draft? Like Justin Jefferson or slot like a Nelson Aguilar like? Or, you know what I'm saying? I want a proven guy, and Odell could be the proven. You know?
There's one guy out there that no one's mentioned that we wouldn't have to give up anything. He's a huge head case. I know he hasn't been cleared by the NFL yet, but you could get Antonio Brown for free.
No guarantee money.
Ooh.
That
I would definitely write a contract where you no social media or anything, but
He's talented,
he
man.
wants.
But I mean, do you trust him? And do you trust the mental state of him, though?
He would have to take some kind. I mean, he would have to need. I mean, he was great for so long. It was just like last year, he lost it. I don't know if he was not on medication or something, but I mean, you don't have to give up nothing, and he would be grateful.
Yeah.
And he probably would have the greatest year of his career because he wants to get back.
Randy Jones got this guy going to the XFL. The league, bro. Yeah, he's got Nelly going to the XFL.
Yeah, all right.
I want the guy Cam Phillips. I think he'd be a good backup.
Yeah, JLU. I bet he does want to play with Brady. I mean, come on. But do you really think Tampa Bay is going to have all those receivers? I mean, come on.
I know you got Mike Evans.
I honestly, someone's going to take him. Someone's going to take a chance on it. It's just,
do you think he's going to get
be that team to take? He has to. I mean, I don't understand how the NFL hasn't done anything about it yet. I mean, it's already a year. I mean, he should file. I mean, he does have a grievance. He really
I don't know.
does.
I mean, what happens with the whole standoff with the police? I mean, man, that was a situation.
I know. I agree.
I'm glad it got resolved without the really bad things happening that could have happened, because I was concerned for him that had the potential of going horribly wrong.
Oh, absolutely. We agree. We were watching that. We were like, not a good business decision, not a good life decision. I mean, just let it go. Shut your mouth, close the door, let her, whatever. You got millions and millions of dollars. What are you worried about a car? But I think, I don't know. I would take a chance, but I would write into the contract, no posse around, no nothing. And I mean, I would have it. I mean, I'm sure they got attorneys who can figure that out, but that's free. That's free. Grateful. He would have a great season because he wants back.
Yeah, Philly fan D, it's a fair point about playing wide receiver. You do got to bust your ass on every play, and you're really only playing for 7 to 10 targets if you're a really good player. It's true. It's true. Probably why they are a bit of a diva. It's also a personality thing, though, man. Y'all know when y'all played in high school, come on, man. Most of the time, your receivers and your defensive backs sometimes tend to be kind of divas.
Hey, it's all about they all try to stand out. They all try to get the extra contracts. You look at these guys making commercials. They're making just as much money off the field, on the field. And, I mean, if you don't stand out, you're not going to make that extra money.
Yep. Randy Jones asked about Emmanuel Sanders. Like the player, too old.
Right?
I heard Cowboys were trying to get him.
I don't know how Cowboys got all this money, but
yeah. I mean, it depends. In Philly, so Randy Jones in Philadelphia, I wouldn't take Emmanuel Sanders. I don't think he's the right fit. But I do think Emmanuel Sanders can still play. I mean, if you got a team that's really close and just needs a veteran guy who can go out there and make plays for them, he's still a good football player. He's still got life left. How much of it? That's the problem. What's he, 32? Something like that, right? 32, 33?
I heard that Flacco got released today, cut. So a failed physical. Do you think the Eagles might bring this guy in to be a backup? I know we got Sudfield, but
how does that?
My gut instinct. My gut instinct is no, because Joe Flacco and Rich Grandrello had a huge falling out last year. That not that I have any information anyone else doesn't have, but just knowing what happened between him and Rich and the fact that Rich is here, probably not.
Now, do you feel confident with Nate Sudfeld as the backup?
Confident? No.
Me neither.
No. But
no,
I mean,
they need something.
In an ideal world, hopefully you don't really need him to come in other than to take a snap in victory formation, maybe to play week 17. You're not going to feel confident to see him in a game. You know what I mean? You're going to have to see him in a game that has meaning.
Do you think they would bring back McCown if possible, or is he retired again?
I love McCown, man, but it's time to hang it up. I mean, my man ripped his hamstring off the bone. Come on.
Because we need someone then. Because Sudfeld seems he's all right, but I would if it's not I hate to say not a matter of question of if, but when Wentz get hurt, you got to have a reliable backup. Mm-hmm. And I would hate for us to load up with all these weapons and then go through what happened again in the playoff game.
Yeah. Randy Jones, on Robbie Anderson's front, I like the player, but it just depends on what are the expectations of Robbie Anderson. I wouldn't want him to be your number one. Like, I feel like that's just setting him up to fail. But in terms of like, okay, what's his market? If it's 10 million or under, I think it's fair. If it creeps over 10 million, I probably pump the brakes a little bit. You know, is he going to be your number one? Is he coming in to be more of that flanker speed guy that you maybe motion around a little bit to try to get matchups with? You know, it's all about, to me, it's about the scheme, the fit, and utilization, how they're going to use them. What do you guys think about Robbie Anderson?
The only thing is, if you look about it, look who he's played with for quarterbacks. I mean, imagine Wentz and him. I mean, you had Sam Darnold.
He had a 92-yard post against the Cowboys. That should be just bring him in there.
And I know he didn't catch these bombs against us, but when the Jets were playing against us, he was wide open. I mean, like by 5+ yards. It's just they didn't hook up.
They didn't even have a quarterback.
You think Luke Falk didn't see that? If he was open, Luke Falk would have got that out there. Nah, I don't know who the Jets were. That dude was. Where'd they find that guy? Are they sure that wasn't the like? I mean, come on, bro. Literally, he was working at the counter at Costco the week before. And they brought him in.
But I'm just saying, man, that's what I'm saying. Look at what he's put up for numbers, and he hasn't played with nobody.
Yeah.
Imagine if Wentz.
Philly fan D. Let me be clear on what I'm saying here, man. It's not that I dislike Flacco. I like Flacco as a backup because I do think Flacco can give you quality reps and a backup role. I'm wondering how bad the fallout was with Rich Frandrella. Him and Rich really hit heads, man. It's not that I wouldn't like him here. I don't know with the coaching fit we have if he's going to be willing to deal with that again if they really don't like each other. What do you guys think about Joe Flacco? Wacko Flacco.
I think Flacco would like to continue his career, and he knows as a backup he has an opportunity actually, unfortunately, to have playing time in Philly. So I think he would come and swallow whatever problems he has, but because business is business, you know, everybody needs a paycheck. But then again, I don't know him personally.
Yeah, I hear you, Philly fan D. He's like, you know, hey, he's a South Jersey guy. He played at UD, University of Delaware. It's not, like I said, it's not the talent. I think Flacco's about as good as you're going to get as a backup. But I don't know, man. Flacco, I think on one hand, you could lure Flacco with the prospect of, look, you know, Carson Wentz has had seasons where he can't finish the year. So you have the possibility of being able to run in there and play in a game. On the other hand, I can see Flacco's point to say, yeah, but a lot of that crap was flukish, how he got injured, and I don't see it replicating itself. And I'd rather go to a place where I got a chance to compete for a starting role. So it's really hard with Flacco. It's a really difficult one. I'm not a big fan of Jameis Winston, guys. Not that he's not a good backup, but I mean, how much money is Jameis Winston going to cost you as a backup?
Especially after he had surgery with his eyes, I think, right?
How about, I know you're probably, how about the former Temple guy who played in the XFL, PJ Walker? You don't think Doug Peterson could develop this guy as a third stringer?
Honestly, I haven't watched a lot of his films, so I don't want to say anything definitive. But generally speaking, when you're playing in the XFL, you know what? Let me back that up, because there's always a Kurt Warner. But generally speaking, when you're playing in a quasi semi-professional league, there's a reason why. With that said, I mean, I don't know what the options are. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you can find a guy that just maybe hasn't had the right opportunity, but that takes a lot of scouting, guys. You have to really trust your scouting department.
I mean, because we signed Luis Perez before McCown, and he was in the AAFL. So, and this guy is like 10 times better than Perez. I mean, he's definitely going to play somewhere in the league. I could see him wanting to come here. But I mean, if you get a chance, see some of the film on him, and he's like a mini Michael Vick, way he's able to get out of plays, but doesn't run as much. But he's got a cannon.
Yeah, Carr, he won't be a starter. I tend to agree because he didn't look very good last year, but I think he's going to want the opportunity to compete for the role. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Snack. All right, Eddie Ortiz. Good point. I don't know the answer to that, man. So he said Joe Flacco failed his physical. Plus, even if he passed it, how healthy is that neck? I don't know, man. And put Peyton Manning out for a year or two. A neck injury did. What's Carr doing? Yeah, that would be, to me, that would be plan A. Let's just hope Carson, there's no need for a backup to come in and take meaningful snaps. I think this is an important season for Carson. I do. I think this is a very important season for Carson, because I think getting through a full 16-game schedule, getting the team into the playoffs, winning the division, all of that was important to see from him. You got to make a push now. You got to make a playoff push.
Oh yeah, no more excuses. I mean, he made it through the season last year, except he made it all until the playoffs. Now we just got to get him that run through the playoffs, get him that first win in the playoffs, and make that run. I believe in him. That's for sure. No doubt about it.
Carr, from the film I've watched of Nate, and to be fair to Nate, I've watched maybe a handful of snaps, mostly preseason. The problem I have with Nate Sudfeld is not the arm talent, because he's got arm talent. He processes plays slowly. Now, because it's preseason, that could be by design, because the plays are so predictable, people aren't separating. But he's a really hard person to judge because you don't see him a lot in meaningful snaps. So I don't know how fast that processing is for him. And that's where I'm concerned about Nate Sudfeld is. In the NFL, man, even if it takes you just 0.2 of a second longer to process than Carson, that's a sack.
I think if he was, if people around the league thought he was really great, some of them signed him instead of him have come back on another 1-year deal with us. I know last year was kind of a lost season for him, but I mean, still, he had a lot of hype going around him that he was going to leave us and take the next step. He's okay. I mean, he had a good game when he came in for Nick Foles against Washington and a couple years ago and scored a TD. But you just don't get that feeling that he's great.
What's up, Donald? Donald said, I would send McLeod and a late pick to the Jets for Adams. I would too. I just don't know that the Jets would accept that. I would do that now if they'll take it. I'll even throw in a gift card to Panera for them. If they'll take that. I mean, I just don't think they will. What are your thoughts there, guys?
I'm sorry we couldn't hear you because it was broken up on the mic. I apologize.
Oh, you're good, man. So Donald Bynum said, I would send McLeod and a late pick to the Jets for Adams. I said I would too, and I would even throw in a gift card to Panera. But would the Jets accept that?
I
something.
I'd be like, we'll give up a lot for Adams. He is like the next Brian Dawkins. Malcolm Jenkins was never like Brian Dawkins. Malcolm Jenkins would always be Malcolm Jenkins, but Jamal Adams, he to me reminds me a little bit of Brian Dawkins. He's got some fire, great player, but nothing to take away from Malcolm Jenkins. But I like Jamal. I would give up a lot for him.
Philly fan D. Unfortunately, that is a very scary proposition, which you might be right. We might have to have Wentz play damn linebacker with the way things are looking right now in order to make the playoffs. I mean, hopefully Howie does something here at linebacker, guys. Draft something. We got to add people. We got to add players. But
I don't know.
There's no one free agency or in the draft. They don't seem like first rounders. They look like second rounders, right? So
for linebackers,
I think you can make a case for Kenneth Murray, but I don't know. I'd spend a first round pick at linebacker. Patrick Queen, if I was in the late first round, sure. But yeah, past that, I think they're more third rounders, to be honest.
So, and then there's no one free agency, and I don't think anybody wants to trade, honestly, because there's not many linebackers that, you know what I mean, will give up their best player.
There's really nobody out there. That's why I was saying earlier, do we bring Bradham back for cheap? Just to
Randy Jones was just saying that in the comments.
Or maybe to bring back.
He's saying Michael, see how we bring in Michael Kendricks back. Well, Michael Kendricks, when that first game Seattle played against us,
all you heard was his name.
All you heard is his name. Michael Kendricks with the tackle. Michael Kendricks with the tackle.
The only thing, the problem is he got hurt in the game before the playoffs, I think, against the Niners.
But I would bring him back.
I'll come back.
It's better than what we got.
Yeah. Randy Jones is saying the same thing. Bring Bradham back. I mean, at this point, I hate to say it because I do think there were limitations to Bradham's game, but if I'm looking at the available players, I don't know, maybe Reggie Ragland, but he might have signed already because, to be honest with you guys, I haven't checked in a minute, so he could have signed already. Do you guys know?
What?
Huh? Oh, Darren Lee? He's young. Yeah, he's young. Darren Lee's young. I mean, I would consider it.
Could that be a risk? But it's still at this point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think linebackers, we need help. That's for sure. If anybody was offering anybody for a trade, I would definitely consider taking it because it's like a ghost town in the middle there. I don't know. It's unbelievable.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you, man. He's saying that me, LB, and 500 need to start a network for YouTube working together. It's not a bad idea, man. Do a YouTube originals. So Lee just signed with the team. Doesn't shock me, Randy. It sucks, man, but these linebackers are coming off the board. Let me look up a few of them real quick, guys. Did Reggie Ragland sign with anyone, guys? Does anyone know? Let's see. Is there any news, anything? I don't see crap. So Reggie Ragland fell out of the rotation in Kansas City last year, just judging from the articles. I mean, he's a young guy. I don't know, man. I mean, it seems risky what we're doing right now at linebacker.
I'm sorry, Steve, but I can't really hear you too well. The mic is cutting out on this end, so we can't comment too much. We apologize. We can't really hear you too well. It's kind of coming in and out, so we apologize for that. But we wanted to thank you for giving us opportunity for being on the live stream with you and talking. We had a great time, and we just want to say thanks. We appreciate it, and anytime we could do it again, we would love to do it. But we want to say thank you to you, and we love watching you, and we enjoy listening to you and all the knowledge that you have. And we want to say thanks to all the fans for letting your fans too. But we had a great time, and we want to say thanks.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys coming on, and no problem, man. Anytime, man. Y'all know that. Randy Jones.
I don't know.
So we got Randy Jones said we got TJ Edwards. I agree with that, Randy Jones, and I do think TJ Edwards is going to be a good player in this league. Unfortunately, I just wish that we had more depth, someone to push this kid. It's scary, man. If we get one injury at linebacker, we're in a world of trouble right now.
We just want to say thanks before we go goodbye because we got
my battery's low.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on, man. So, all right, gentlemen. So what I was saying that linebacker is, of course, we got guys like, TJ Edwards. And TJ Edwards, I do think is going to be a good football player, guys. But if we even suffer one injury, and I'm trying to go to the team site right now on PhiladelphiaEagles.com, I mean, we get into a world of hurt. I mean, not only do we barely even have four linebackers to run out there with TJ Edwards, Nathan Gary. Let's see what else we got, guys. We got, sorry, guys, searching through. Duke Riley, who's probably the only other guy we got that has, starting experience, and then Alex Singleton. I mean, if we lose one player with what we had there, I mean, there's just no depth. And I do think we're going to have to address this, not only probably in free agency. I think we need a signing, but I also think outside of free agency, I think you're going to have to actually go and probably draft at least one player, if not two. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I talked about in previous videos I would love the Eagles to add. I mean, Akeem Davis-Gaither. There's a lot of guys out there, Troy Dye. I think the Eagles are going to have to be pretty aggressive this draft period. I mean, we got 8 picks left. Are you guys still confident about moving up in the draft and losing some of those picks? Let me know in the comments, guys. I mean, you start losing picks, guys, and I don't know. At 8 picks, man, I projected the Eagles to move up too in the draft, but I just don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility anymore. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think there. Yeah, Randy, we're definitely thin at linebacker, man. We definitely got some issues there. So iShine 101 says that we need to draft 2 wide receivers, 2 linebackers, and 2 cornerbacks. Yeah, man, I don't think that's a bad draft board. I would probably add to that. You probably need an interior lineman too, or even a swing tackle if you can't find a vet. We move up and keep 4 picks. Ooh, Carr, we better get those picks right because if we miss, man, they're going to burn it down. Extra Trelly says it seems less likely to me after the Slay trade. I agree. It does to me too. And I'm a guy that, like I said, I moved Eagles from 21 to 18 for not Darius Slay, from 21 to 18 to go get Henry Ruggs. And I'm not as confident in that pick anymore just because of how much we've lost. Not that, if he slid down the board, of course, but I don't know if we're going to move up anymore. So iShine 101 says 1 corner and 1 safety possibly. Yeah, I could see safety as well. We definitely need a 3rd safety. We need to find that out. 5 picks in general. I got you. I see what you're saying, Kara. So you mean trading up and then 4 additional picks past that? I got you. I don't know. Would you guys how mad would you be at the Eagles, guys, if we came out of this draft with only 5 picks? Would that be something that would actually make you guys pretty angry? To me, I wouldn't necessarily be angry as long as we hit on those 5 picks. But I do think it would put us in a situation that maybe we're not the best at, which is working with limited amount of draft picks and trying to get those picks right. I mean, I love Howie, but he doesn't have the best track record there with that. How about the Zach Ertz rumors, guys? Where are you guys at on the Zach Ertz rumors? I would like to keep the player, but I will admit, at some point, Zach Ertz is going to want to be paid. Dallas Goedert will want to be paid in a couple more years. I would love to keep both guys. I just don't think it's possible. I thought we would have Zach Ertz for at least this season, but man, that name keeps popping up, guys, in draft rumors and trade rumors. What do you guys think about that? He also added personnel. Fair point, Carr. He did. So Randy says, no, they have to pick 5 above average picks. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Aishan says that we need to get younger in a similar manner that the 49ers did. Randy, I tend to agree that it seems crazy to think that we would trade Zach Ertz, but at the same time, the thing is we're really tight with the salary cap next year until we let Alshon and a few other players go. Then that cap space opens back up again a little bit. But when you get past 2021 and you look at 2022, I mean, we have a lot of money to spend. So I don't know that. I do agree. I don't know that the Zach Ertz trade is necessary, but I don't know, man. I don't understand why the name keeps popping up if the Eagles aren't maybe making calls out there. I mean, why do these guys keep placing the name there? Because it's not just fans. I mean, it's fans I heard first start doing that, but definitely there's been some reporters doing that recently. We won't trade him, at least not for Julio Jones. I don't think that's likely to happen either, Carr, not for Julio. Not that I don't like Julio, and Julio would be incredible, but it seems unlikely because of that, his dead cap. That's ESPN. Well, that's a good point, Randy, because you got a point here, man, is that how much of what they're saying is genuinely reporting and how much of it is just to keep your attention, make you tune in. I mean, it's clickbaiting you, basically. I think it's a fair point when it comes to some of these trade rumors. I mean, how many trade rumors have we been linked into in the past 12 months, man? I mean, just think about that in general, just how many different players they linked us to. Goddard isn't ready to take up the mantle for Ertz. I agree and disagree on that one. I think I think you do have a point, Carr, that he's not the same level of talent as Ertz. But I do think he's a little more athletic than Ertz is. But yeah, he's got some issues, man. He put the ball on the ground quite a bit last year. Goddard did. And Goddard, as good as he was as the blocking tight end his first season, I wasn't happy with him last year, guys. I mean, he was rolling at the feet of defenders a lot. Maybe that was by design, but who knows, man? Who knows? Let me ask you a question. You guys were posing the rumors of going get an OBJ. If they, I don't know, say a 3rd round pick and Zach Ertz got you OBJ, then would you pull the trigger? I'm not saying that's a likelihood, guys. I'm just making that up in thin air. But 3rd round pick and Zach Ertz for OBJ, would you pull the trigger on that? Extra Trelly said, bye, Zach. Sakara said no. 3rd in Ertz. Yeah, Cara, 3rd in Ertz for OBJ. Randy Jones, no, because Zach is Ertz's safety blanket. It's a fair point. So you want to pick in return. Would value pick, Cara. So I'll spitball one. A 3rd in Ertz for OBJ and a 6th or a 5th. So iShine 101 said, if we could get Isaiah Simmons for Zach Ertz, knowing we have Goddard, I'm sorry, but I'll take it. Simmons is a generational talent, kind of like Ray Lewis. I like Simmons a lot. I don't know, man. It's hard. Like, it is hard to separate from certain players. And that's the problem I have with Zach Ertz, is I really do like Zach Ertz. Cara says she would do it, but it would hurt her feelings. Philly Fan D says yes. Demaria Smith says no way. OBJ is great, but hasn't been good the past few seasons. Randy Jones says Simmons is good, but not that good. iShine 101, yeah, we've been interested in Unique for a while. I mean, I put a video back a few weeks ago talking about that we were interested in Unique Ngakoue. I had already started to hear those rumors. Ertz is my favorite player. I could be very biased. Yeah, I don't know if he's my favorite player, but I mean, Ertz just, it's so hard with Ertz because Ertz does give cryptic messages himself sometimes, to where he did seem to indicate that maybe he could be moved. But at the same time, I do think that some of you guys have made fair points, which is, Ertz is a safety blanket, especially on third down for Wentz. And, you want to get too fancy with yourself and end up, losing. Ertz is a cryptic dude. That's funny, Carr. Yeah, I would love to add Unique Ngakoue, guys, but let me ask you a question. He doesn't have a deal in place. He's on a franchise tag. What are you giving up to add him? I mean, me personally, I'm not giving a first up for him. I don't think it's worth a first. But a mid-round pick, maybe. If we can work a long-term deal out with him, would I maybe give him a second for him? I'd consider it. He's that good of a player. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, Simmons is a beast. Simmons is. I mean, I did a video where I broke down on him, and I said that I don't know where you play Simmons in the NFL, but I'll find a place for him. Demario Smith says BG and a third. Brandon Graham. It would be interesting. I mean, the only thing that concerns me about something like that is that we don't have a lot of veteran leadership. But to be honest with you, Brandon Graham and a third gives you OBJ. I think you pulled the trigger there. Randy Jones said Sidney Rasul and the third-round pick. Yeah, Extratrelli, I feel the same way. If you have a long-term deal in place with Unique, I would give a second up for him too. Yeah, Carr, I don't know if they would take it either, but I mean, if they did, I would trade it. No doubt about it. What do you guys think the over-under is in that we sign another player today? I'm getting concerned at linebacker, but I still don't think we're going to hear anything today about linebacker. I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows what they're doing behind the scenes, but you think we will, Carr? What do you think we're going to sign? Another corner? Randy said 7. At midnight? Yeah, exactly. When we finally all go to sleep, then the alerts will start going off on all our phones. Oh, yeah, Sean, there's no doubt about him being an athletic freak, man. When I did the video breakdown of him and I was watching the way Clemson used him, that's when I did my mock draft. I said a lot of people were projecting Henry Ruggs to the Raiders. Now, mind you, I probably would change it now just because they signed linebackers and free agency. But I said, I can't see Simmons making it to that 12th pick going Ruggs over Simmons. Simmons is, yeah, he's special. That's a special talent. Yeah, that guy, yeah, Sean, he's crazy talented, man. I would love to be able to draft him. Are there any defensive guys in this draft? Who every now and then I get them, and I really do appreciate the guys who are like, man, we got to go defense in this draft. Do we still have anyone in here who still feels like we might go defense with that 21st pick? Aishan said he's going to take the under. I'll probably take the under myself, Aishan, on them signing someone again today. Randy says he thinks that they're going to sign a receiver or trade for Unique. Kara, interesting. So Kara doesn't feel we would get another free agent cornerback. I don't know, man. Not today, I don't think. I think you're right there, Kara. I think you have a safe bet. I mean, if you're the Eagles, okay, I like Sidney Jones. And I did a breakdown of Sidney Jones's play, and I felt like when you really broke down the advanced analytics on Sidney Jones, he started to emerge. He didn't play a lot, though. I will say this: if you can go get a guy like a Bashad Breeland for a couple of $1 million, nothing big, maybe a year or two contract, couple $1 million, to come in here and compete with a Sidney Jones, that would make you guys feel a little more confident in the cornerback room, knowing you got on one side, then you got a guy like Rashad Breeland and Sidney Jones fighting for that opposite side to be the right cornerback, basically. Would you take Judy over Ruggs? For the Eagles, Damari, I'm saying this for the Eagles in particular, I would go Ruggs over Judy. For 31 other NFL teams, I think it's Judy. I think Judy's a better overall football player. But Ruggs, I think, gives you what you need more if you're the Eagles. And we desperately need speed. Randy says offense in the draft only. That's the way it's shaping up because we're only really targeting defensive players so far in free agency. So I wouldn't, I probably wouldn't bet you on that. Randy, you like Logan Ryan? I wasn't as impressed with Logan Ryan, man. I mean, he was really hard to he was really, really difficult to pinpoint on, because he gave up, I don't know. He improved in certain, categories from the season prior, but man, he gave up 66% of catches, man. I don't know how I feel about him. Burgang 114 said keep Talib. What I think about Aqib Talib. Are his knees still there? I mean, a 1-year deal, if he's still got his knees, I mean, he's older. I mean, he's in his 30s. I don't know. So Kara says that she would get one cornerback in the draft and then, maybe somewhere around third round. So who are you looking at? Like a Troy Pride Jr.? Who are you targeting in that third round, Kara? You got a player in mind or just, best available cornerback? Carl said we have Jackson who could teach Ruggs, better route running. Yeah, that's the thing about Deshaun Jackson that always impressed me about him, is he was a much better route runner than I think a lot of people ever realized. Especially when you look back at the early scouting reports on Deshaun Jackson, he turned out to be a really good route runner, especially his second time around in Philly. Huh? Aishan, I like that. So I like when people go, yeah, Randy. It's funny. We do have those stats at corner, where everyone keeps catching everything on us. Best available favorite corner for Carr, Aishan. So Aishan said, guys, he would go wide receiver in the first round. And then I like how he flipped it and did something second round. He went O-line. And it just feels like an Eagles move to me, right? It feels like a Howie Roseman move. You go first round receiver, second round tackle or guard, maybe center. I could see him doing that. Although I do think we would probably go guard or center a little later in the draft and tackle. See the Eagles draft an offensive lineman in this draft. I know what you meant. The best available. Who's your favorite corner, Carr? Okuda? I guess that would probably be most of us, but Extra Trelly said he wouldn't be mad at that at all. I really, I hope we end up getting a center, man, because I'm getting concerned about Kelsey. Kelsey playing that, position for so long, and your favorite corner is AJ Terrell. Okay. AJ Terrell is probably second rounder. You know what though, Carr, if the draft people slip in and they fall in these drafts, so if he falls, I don't think he'd make it all the way to the late third though. But yeah, Kelsey is a year by year guy to me too, guys. Ishine, the kid from Temple, yeah, I like him too. That's what is his name? I can't think of his name. I knew you were talking about though. There is a pretty good center coming out of there. Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 centers in this draft that I think are going to be pretty good players in the for the long term. Randy Jones says he likes Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, Trayvon Diggs looks like a guy that would really fit a cover 3 defense well to me. He's got that 6'2" crazy wingspan. Like, I think he would be a really good cover 3 cornerback. Who's everyone expecting to be the first round pick? Up until this free agency period, and I was going and trading away picks to go get Darius Slay, and was pretty confident that more than likely the Eagles would probably find a way of getting Henry Ruggs. I don't know if I believe that anymore, guys. Burrow, Joe Burrow. Funny. Cesar Ruiz is good. Yeah, Cesar Ruiz is a really good player. Burrow gang. Who is it? Let me look that up, guys. Is Burrow the center? Let me see. All right, guys. Trying to see if anything pops up here. Matt Hennessy. Yeah, Matt Hennessy would make a lot of sense, guys. I just don't know where Hennessy's value would fall. That's my concern with someone like that. But if he's a guy that you get around the 3rd or the 4th round, I don't think he's going to last that long. I think I don't know. I get a feeling he's going to go in the back end of the 2nd round, early 3rd round. But Demarius Smith said Kenneth Murray. I like Kenneth Murray a lot. Yeah, Carr, they were projecting him, but he's not going at 8 anymore. The Cardinals going out there and making the moves they've made this offseason, going and getting Hopkins, they're not drafting a receiver at 8. I think the receivers, like I predicted, they're going to slide. The problem is that the receivers test it really well, but so do the offensive tackles, and you're always going to go tackle before you go receiver. So I think the tackles are going to really slide the receivers down that draft board a little bit. Randy Jones, you like T. Higgins? I think you were the one, you hit me up quite a bit about T. Higgins. I definitely think you were one of the first ones that were trying to tell me to go watch film of him. I like T. Higgins too. He ran slightly better than I thought he would run. I like that. On film, he looks like a 4.45, 4.48 kind of, speed. His game film lines up. CeeDee Lamb's a good player. I don't think he'll make it to the Eagles, though. Who do you think we will go for at 21, Carr? At 21, I think we're going to go receiver. I think if we're really lucky, I don't think it's going to happen, guys, because I think the mid-round's these guys are going to fly off and like from picks like 14 to like 19. But if we're really lucky, one of the big 3 receivers slips down to us. If not, I think you'll see the Eagles go maybe a T. Higgins. I think you might see them go Jefferson. You'll see a player like that. I think the Eagles would be really lucky if we could trade back. We can trade back, acquire more picks. I think you can find a pretty good receiver later in the 1st round. I mean, Denzel Mims isn't quite as polished as Higgins and some of the other guys are, but he's got the physical skill traits, man, that make him a very intriguing pick. So Gang 114 said, should the Eagles draft Justin Jefferson, Mims, KJ Hamler, or Rieger? If we're talking first to second round value, I would say Justin Jefferson, Mims, and Rieger are all in consideration. I wouldn't go Hamler in the second round personally. My favorite out of those three is Rieger. Rieger, just his film, he runs faster on film than he, and the kid's vertical shows up. 42-inch vertical shows up back shoulder towards the sideline with him. Like, that kid he's athletic, man. Would I take Rieger in the first round? I probably would be hesitant there. If you're asking me first round, if I'm picking at 21, I'm probably taking Justin Jefferson out of that list of guys you have there. If I'm trading down in the first round or the early second round, then I would probably go Mims. If I'm staying put and I'm hoping that a guy like Rieger slips, if I'm at 53 and Rieger, I would take Rieger. Not who you want, who you think. If I had to guess right now, Carr, I would probably say it's going to be a T. Higgins. It's what my gut instinct tells me right now, but we'll see. I don't think the Eagles are done evaluating. Yeah, Bird Gang, I agree. If anything, the combine helped us with Rieger, because Rieger, he didn't run as fast as he could. Now, what I heard happened to Rieger is that he purposely tried to put on size. But what ended up happening when he put on size is it slowed him down. So hopefully, he returns back to his game weight, tries to add, he tries to size the correct way this time through a real strength and conditioning program. And then, we'll see who he really is as a football player. Yeah, I shine 101. I like Hennessy a lot. Randy Jones, Ayuk. I'm so confused where that kid's going to go, Randy Jones. I keep seeing people all over the place with him. Some people are saying he's first round. Some are saying second. Some are saying third. Like, I've never seen a prospect be so far across the board on where people are putting him. I shine 101, Mims. Yeah, if we're talking late first round, I'd go Mims. If we're talking pick 21, I'd probably go Jefferson or Higgins. If we trade back, I'd go Mims. If we're picking a guy up in the second round at 53, I'd go Rieger, although Rieger might go before that 53 pick. But I think we'd be pretty close. He's going to be right around that, I think, that area. Yeah, Carl, my gut instinct is T. Higgins. That's my gut instinct right now. It just sucks because we can't see the Eagles going down to pro days. You know what I mean? All they're really doing is what they should be doing, which is watching the film. But I guess there are some positives to that, though, Cara, because what happens is if you can only watch the film and do phone interviews, I think it's harder to fall in love with a player over the phone than in person. I think the Eagles are guilty of falling in love with players because of their personality and not necessarily what the film said about the player. So, Paul, I like that pick, man. He said he wouldn't mind looking at Troy Pride Jr. in the third round. He's a bit of a project, but he does have speed. I like Troy Pride Jr. as well. Randy Jones, do you think the Eagles add a running back like Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin? Ooh, man, that's a good question. I think he's going to go in the second round unless someone gets really desperate in the first round, but I don't think that's going to happen. I like where your head's going, Randy Jones, because I do think the Eagles need somebody that can go in between the tackles and play a certain role here. But I don't know that. Do you think Jonathan Taylor's the type of guy who's going to want to split carries? That's the thing. I don't know that that's him. There's a guy. I think I mistakenly said that he was from Utah, but he might be New Mexico. I can't remember. There's a really good contact balance running back coming out of the draft this year. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can't find this guy. I can't remember if he's coming out of New Mexico or if it was coming out of yeah, there's Gibson coming out of New Mexico. Hang on, there was another guy coming out though, guys. I think it was Utah's running back. Let's see. Zach Moss. So Zach Moss from Utah. That kid has incredible contact balance. That would be a guy. Yeah, Zach Moss. Thank you, Bergang 114. That's exactly who it is. It's Zach Moss. Man, Zach Moss is incredible when you watch his film. That kid just really, man. That's a guy that if teams slip on this kid's talent and let him hang around in the 4th round, goes to make that selection. I really would. I do, but I just think that now that these teams have to watch film, I don't think some of these guys are going to slip as much as happened in previous drafts. I really do worry for the small school guys. I think that can hurt them a lot. So what do you guys think about Zach Moss? I think he's going to be good. Bergang 114. Wish the Eagles valued linebacker a lot more. Yeah, I do too, man. You know, it's one of those situations where here in Philadelphia and the way that the game is changing to where I don't know if we're ahead of the curve or behind the curve. It's a hard one. I'm a little old school because, like I said, I played primarily in the late 90s and early 2000s. Linebacker was a valued position when I played. So it could just be that I'm old school, but I don't know. So, Bergang, do you think the Eagles might go linebacker before the 3rd round? Could you see the Eagles making a selection in the 2nd round at linebacker? My instinct says no because we just don't draft linebackers in the 2nd round, but it's been a long time since we have. All right, guys, before I jump off here, because we got a few more minutes left before I got to jump off. No, maybe the other 3. Yeah, I hear you, man. Before I jump off, we talked about the 1st round. Before I jump off here, you guys let me know 2 things. Number 1, all right, tell me, who is the free agent signing people aren't looking at that could happen? Who is the underrated free agent signing no one's looking at that's going to get signed is going to be more productive than people think? And then number 2, let me know, 2nd round, who do you think the Eagles are? What do you think the Eagles are going to do in the 2nd round? We've had a couple of people talk about line. So let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the 2nd round, and then tell me who is the underrated free agent. Randy Jones, the way the game is played now, offense is using 5 wides and more athletic tight ends and running backs. Linebackers no longer as big a need. I agree. It's just a changing game. It just seems crazy to me that it doesn't feel that long ago that the Eagles had Jeremiah Trotter. And I just remember I was a huge Jeremiah Trotter fan. And just like, I don't even know that Jeremiah Trotter would fit in today's game. I don't think he's a fit. I'll give you one, guys. I'll give you one player I think is being slept on. I think could be a really good football player, and that's Bashaud Breeland. Bashaud Breeland for me is one of those guys that he probably won't be signed for maybe a couple more days. And Car, I just saw your post. He probably won't be signed for a few more days, and he's definitely no one's top of the board corner. But I think if you go back and you look at his tape in Kansas City, I thought he played well. I mean, go watch the Super Bowl. I thought he played pretty well. I think it's a guy that maybe he's not getting the same credit that Fuller got. And I blame myself for Fuller because I was one of the first people to really start speaking out loudly saying that I would love to have Fuller play free safety here in Philadelphia or even come in and play nickel. But, yeah. Marquise Goldson. What's up, Ewing? Will Parks and an O lineman. Ishon. Good picks, man. Extra Trelly. I love Trotter. Also enjoyed Takeo Spikes and D'Amico Ryan when they were here. Trot was my guy, though. Yeah, man. Trotter was definitely my guy, too, man. Okay. Emmanuel Sanders. I don't think that's a bad pick. Linebacker soon. We got to have to take one round 2. Okay. Extra Trelly, do you got a player you prefer in round 2? Melvin Gordon, Randy Jones, sneaky pick. I'm shocked he hasn't been signed yet. Yeah, Ewing, Hicks was good when he was healthy. I still think it was a big mistake on the Eagles' part to let him go. I don't think it was smart for the Eagles to let him walk in free agency last year. Still think we're paying for that. The problem with him is he wasn't, like you said, man, he missed a lot of games. Okay, Tony Jefferson. So you think AJ Epineza in the first, Bird Gang, second round Rieger, and then third round Akeem Davis Gaither. I would like that draft pick. I would like that draft a lot. That would be a really good draft. AJ Epineza is an interesting pick in the first round. Elite hand placement, not a speed. Really good with his hands, though. I think he's going to be pretty. Yeah, Akeem Davis Gaither, when I turned on his film, I was shocked. Guys, I don't live that far from Boone. So Boone's like maybe 2 hours from me. To be real with you, it's not even 2 hours because I don't drive the exact speed limit. I don't know who does in the world anymore. But like I've been to about 2 App State games, and the 2 games I went to, he didn't pop off to me. But then I sat down, and when he was gaining a little height, he had just a little bit of height. And I said, let me watch film on this kid. And I turned the film on, and I was just like, I was amazed. I was like, holy shit, this kid is like Brian Dawkins-esque. The way this kid comes off that edge as a pass rusher and flies through the air is amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Akeem Davis Gaither. I'm just scared that teams are going to roll film of him, and he's going to go in the second round because of the film. I'm hoping, though, Bird Gang, I'm with you, man. If that kid lasts until the third, man, he's going to be a hell of a pickup for somebody. I need a drink in an Eagles update already. I hear you, Car. I don't have kids, Car, but I do have my niece. Yeah, another defensive end would drive me nuts, but it's an Eagles move. It is, right? Team to draft D-line or O-line in the first round. It seems to be – it's not that – I don't know that we go in there intending to do that every draft, but it feels like that's the fallback. Like, if the guys that we want aren't available, then we'll just go D-line or O-line. I do feel like that's our fail-safe. Yeah, the Cardinals gave him $20 million plus. Yeah. Yeah, Randy, it just feels like if we had worked it out, we could have probably gotten him for a little less than that. But I think it can be argued the same mistake, with Malcolm Jenkins is had we worked this contract out before, it got to this point and extended him, may never got to this area. But I'll be honest with you, signing Darius Slay, or not signing, trading for Darius Slay, it makes me feel a little better about the Malcolm Jenkins situation. Ewing 609, Emmanuel Sanders wouldn't be bad right now. Yeah, if we were in the market for more veteran players at wide receiver, I think that's where I would go. I don't think the Eagles are going to go that direction, though, but I don't think I would be mad if they signed him. Huh. Extra Trelly, I like that question, man. So Extra Trelly said, question for you guys. Who do you think will be the one person that falls in the draft more than people may think they will. Randy Jones, that could be a point, man. That might be true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do think that is a possibility, what you're saying there, that if we maintain Malcolm Jenkins, then we may not have gotten Darius Slay. That could have been true. That might be true. The one guy I think that could fall in this draft, Isaiah Simmons, I think is a possibility to fall. I think he's a top 5 talent, but I just think if you look at the needs for teams, I can see Isaiah Simmons slipping. When I say slipping, guys, I don't mean like slipping. I'm saying going from the top 5 pick to like top 12 pick, basically. I think CeeDee Lamb could slip with Arizona. Indianapolis traded out of the 13th pick. I could see CeeDee Lamb now slipping down the board. I don't know. Past that, guys, I don't know. I could see McKinney, the safety McKinney. I could see Delpit slipping because there's just not a lot of. I think that there's not a lot of safety needy teams right now that are not that there's not teams that need safety help, but where they're slotted to be drafted, it's just a really bad place to be for them. Trying to think who else I could think of, guys. I'll tell you who I think is rising up the boards. Josh Jones, the tackle from Houston. I think he's moving up the boards. Ewing 609. My dream wide receiver right now would be Mike Evans. Yeah, man. It'd be a pretty good signing. I would take Mike Evans, not a signing, but a trade. He's only 26. I didn't realize he was that young either. He feels like he's been in the league a lot longer than that, huh? Carr, I think it hurts that Malcolm signed with New Orleans. That hurt too. When I saw that, I was like, Christ, did you have to sign with the contender? But I can't blame him. We let him walk. I mean, you can't control where a guy goes when you let him walk. I mean, we let him walk. Extra Trelly said he thought Delpit would be the guy that might slide. Randy Jones said, if the Eagles get CeeDee Lamb, he'll sing the Eagles fight song on my channel. I'll tell you what, Randy Jones, we'll mark that in there. If the Eagles get CeeDee Lamb, Randy Jones has to sing the Eagles fight song. Extra Trelly, what kind of injury, Carr? I hate the way that relationship ended with Malcolm Jenkins so unceremoniously. It sucks. But, it's a business, guys. It sucks. It's a business. What can you do? The old adage, it's better to move on from a guy a year too early than a year too late. Would you call the Titans about Corey Davis? Depending on what they want for him. I don't know, Ewing. I don't think it had to do with coaching. I think Malcolm was really liked by the coaching staff. Did you notice, Ewing, that when he penned that message, when he tweeted that message, he specifically left Howie Roseman out of it? I think it had to do with Howie Roseman. Because, I mean, if you really look at it, Ewing, Howie Roseman, well, it wasn't Howie, to be fair. It was Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie gave the indication that we were going to do something with Malcolm Jenkins, right? That if he came in, he played, made it to all the mandatory camps and everything, we would take care of him. And it didn't happen. I think he feels a certain way towards Howie Roseman right now. Man, you know how it is. It's a tough situation. Like Aguilar's knee, Carr, I saw that. Bergang, you don't think we can trust Dillard? I think we can trust Dillard on the left side, but I get what you're saying. He's got some issues when it comes to maturity. I think there's some maturity issues with him. Demaria, I mean, obviously, I think everyone in the league would be interested in Julio, but I don't think there's anything's going to happen on that front. His dead cap is $58 million, Julio Jones. I mean, from the Eagles' perspective, we don't know what Atlanta does, but it just seems unlikely that Atlanta could move on from him with a $58 million dead cap. Yeah, Randy, I agree. He deserved to be paid. He did. Extra Trelly. That's funny, man. Yeah, it would be interesting though, Carr, to see what would be the dead cap consequences. Let me see if I can't figure that out, guys, for Atlanta. So I'm going to try to do the salary cap calculator for Atlanta, and that'll give us an idea of the cap implications for Julio Jones being traded. So that'll give us a better understanding of how that would affect Atlanta's salary cap. Sometimes it's not as bad as it looks. Look at Alshon. We could technically release Alshon with a June 1st designation. It would only cost us about $1 million against the cap. Their current cap room, guys, for 2020 is only $2 million. That's a red flag for me right from the beginning. And if we were to, all right, let's go with a trade with a June 1st designation. Let's submit that and see what it does. All right, guys, I'm waiting for it to submit. It may not even submit because it won't do it. Damn, we'll even cut him. All right, so if they cut him, I'll try to screenshot this for you guys, okay? I'll try to share the screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. And I'll show you exactly what happens with Julio Jones, okay? So, all right, share screen. Let's go to Chrome tabs. I think it's this tab here, guys. Give me 1 second. There it is. All right, I'm going to share this screen with you. Just let me know, guys, if you can't see it. But if you look here, all right, I cut him, so I'm going to undo it, okay? So that way you guys can see everything. All right. So for this year right now, guys, if you come up here to 2020, Atlanta's salary cap room is $2 million, all right? So let's go down to Julio Jones. Let's play with the cap a little bit. That I'm going to take him down to a June 1st trade designation, so that way they can split the cap, ramifications over 2 seasons. And you'll see why I'm saying this probably wouldn't work. It'll take it a second to load, guys. I don't know why it does not want to load this. Damn, it won't even let me load that. Let me try do the cut again. We'll see if that works. So if you cut them, they go in the whole $13 million. So obviously they would have to clear even more cap space if you cut him with a June 1st designation. So let me go to, let me just try trade and see what it does. Okay, so if you trade them, can you guys see what happens up here? Atlanta would be in the hole by $10.5 million for the cap. So they clearly would have to make other roster moves and adjustments in order for that to work. Hopefully it showed you guys that. It looks like it did from my angle. So that's the concern I have with Julio Jones, guys, is that Atlanta just doesn't have the cap space to move on from him. Von Bell. I haven't really watched a lot of film on him, to be honest, Randy, if I'm going to be serious about it. I like the prospect of adding a young safety. What if we sign Everson Griffin? Veteran guy, good pass rusher. I'm not opposed to it, but then what would be I don't know. I'd like to get younger there, but he wouldn't cost you any picks. So I think the issue you get into, Randy, is it's the cap space for Atlanta, man. If Atlanta had more cap space, I think it would be easier. But they've already signed. Sure, they did some things this offseason to where they're cap restricted. I mean, they worked out a pretty crazy contract for him, man. His contract is nuts. $58 million in dead cap, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I Shine 101. I tend to agree, man. OTs and quarterbacks are going to go in the first round. I agree with that statement. Bergang, so you think the only trade that seems realistic at this time is for OBJ? Maybe, perhaps. I don't know. So you're going to give him Josina Anderson's Twitter account too? Von Bell, let me see. I don't know if I would call him a big safety. Let me take a look. Well, it looks like he's 25, which is the most positive thing for him. He's about 5'11", 205 guys is what he runs. I don't know if I'd call that big, but sometimes I think the physical size of a guy can be overestimated. It's more the toughness and the strength that person, possesses. I do know that Von Bell has played in the box, so he does have a little bit behind him. All right, Bergang, we'll see you later, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Prayed with OBJ if he was here and won. Yeah, man. I mean, OBJ would be he'd be a great trade candidate, but I don't know, man. I don't know that Cleveland. Do you guys honestly think Cleveland's ready to give up on him? I mean, there's a new coaching regime there, so maybe they are. I'm trying to hang in here a few more minutes, guys. Although, like, I got my niece, and me being a former school teacher, my wife being a school teacher, I got to make sure my niece does her homework. Well, her work. It's not even homework. It's just work now because they're working from home. Yeah, I don't believe they will either. Extra Trelly. That's my problem too. I just can't see. I can't see that working out. It's no problem, man. Fly Eagles fly, brother. All right, John. I'm going to hang in for a few more minutes. You guys got any more last minute questions? Let me know what you guys. What do you want to talk about? Free agency, the draft. What do you got questions on, guys? Yeah, Car. I had to help my wife. She had to, they had to flip their content to online. So, like, I had to show her how to use like online whiteboard applications. So, like, how you can take a sheet of paper and draw on it online and stuff. And like, I was showing her all the stuff I used to do. She was like, "Man, this is too much." Like, like I tell her though, how hard is it if you can do your work in your pajamas? But yeah, I feel you guys. It's hard to keep kids under control for long periods of time. For me, it always worked because I coach. So with the boys, it's pretty easy. Oh, okay, cool, cool. Keep acting up. Just wait till we get to the field. That normally got them pretty calm. But yeah, my niece, she's like 9, and like that's just a whole different age group. I worked with 13 and 14-year-olds. Like 9-year-olds are much harder to control. Oh wow, yeah, Cara, yeah, that's difficult. I had a student I taught that was also on the spectrum, and he had emotional issues along with being on the spectrum, and like, yeah, that's a tough situation. Absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to move up to get a Lamb or a Judy. I agree. Ewing, I like that perspective. I agree. The one thing I'll say about Howie Roseman is, as mad as he can get you at times because you don't understand what he's doing, man, the dude, he can pull a rabbit out of you. He doesn't know what. Dude's pretty good at finding a way. He finds a way to build the roster. No doubt about it, man. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Listen, I'm going to do another live, so this won't be the last live of the week. I'm trying to get my brother to do a live with me. My brother, he does a lot of things with like collectibles and like sports memorabilia. So I wanted to get him on to talk about that because that's something I used to do a lot when I was a kid. I was really into collecting, but I haven't really done that as an adult. And I just wanted to have him. I would love to pick his mind a little bit, and I thought it would be an interesting kind of you know transition and something different. But yeah, man, I'm gonna do another live, guys. Probably be some weekend is probably when I'll do it. I'm gonna try to get him on. I know me and Philly Mike have been talking. We're gonna do another live together, so we're getting that in the works as well, guys. I'm going to try to do probably at least the first round. I'm going to go live in the draft, so we're going to try to do some lives with the draft. So yeah, all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching, man. Y'all know what time it is. EAGLES. All right, guys. Look, hit me in the comment section if you guys have more comments. I should be able to check my phone and stuff and reply back a little bit. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out here, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It's greatly appreciated, guys.